It is the darkest day of the year. Happy winter solstice, everybody. And it only seems fitting that on this day, during my meditations, I am approached with the darkest, deepest, shadowy pieces of my soul. I sat down to this meditation thinking I'd be doing something, I talked about it in another video. My new moon intentions tree meditation, and as I was trying to do it, I kept having pieces of my shadow pop up. And I was reminded of a story, right? A parable, metaphor, if you will, whatever you want to call it. And it goes like this. There was once a Buddhist monk who every day would get into a boat and float out into the middle of a lake to meditate. That was his thing. And on one of these days, he was out there, he had his eyes closed, he's deep in meditation. And while he was sitting there, something hit the boat and jarred him out of his state of peacefulness. And before he even opened his eyes, he was filled with a fit of anger, rage, resentment, whatever. But when he did open his eyes, he realized there was nobody there. It was a log that had bumped into the boat. And it was in this moment that the monk realized that anger, resentment, and desire for vengeance, all of those things existed within him. There was no external source that brought that to him. And I'm reminded of this today, because as I sit and I try to do my happy whatever meditation, I keep having these fits of anger where it will be a person that fucked me over, and I go through this whole conversation in my head. I'm like, meh, 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 right? Or, about my job, just all of it. And I had this epiphany moment, much like the monk did in the boat, that there is no external source that brings that to me, that lives within me. And so I shifted meditations, and I want to share it with you. I believe this is also a Buddhist meditation, but I'm not sure. What you do is you imagine your shadow self across from the table. You picture yourself as the angry, vindictive, vengeful, resentful, whatever your shadow is. You picture yourself as that sitting across the table from you. And you just let it be. You take a moment to recognize that sitting at this table is that version of you, but also the conscious, peaceful version. That both of those things can sit at the table at once. I remind myself in this moment that trying to put a leash on that shadowy version of myself, or trying to suppress that shadowy version of myself, or just to get rid of it altogether, that would be removing or putting a leash on myself. And that's not healthy. It is in the acceptance of that version that you find liberation, right? Because you no longer attribute that shadow to outside sources, and that's a game changer. Rather, you learn to let those two things live simultaneously. And when you are in life functioning and you feel anger, you feel vengeance, you can find that space where the peaceful conscious version and the shadowy version can exist together. And you can make it so that the shadow version does not come out of your mouth. That the actions that you bring into the world also are not rooted in that vengeful state, but in the peaceful state. It takes practice. I'm not saying that you can do this once and be good to go. I think it's a lifetime thing. But I thought I'd share this with you. It is when we accept our shadow that we are liberated from it.